The sound of warfare thunders across Europe. Germany, after a swift and brutal campaign, engaged the French nation in war, and in a swift and brutal campaign, forced that nation to capitulate and surrender. But before we take a proper look at the German nation, let's take a look at their ally to the far east, the Japanese Empire of the Rising Sun. The Japanese, after faltering start in the previous season, where they failed their initial landings against the Chinese coastline, have now found their pace and have conquered nearly the entirety of the coastline from Suyan all the way down to Hunan. The CCP and the KMT forces are now in a small position, having to back themselves into the mountains for proper defense. The Japanese have sizable forces of land forces, marines, infantry, artillery, and now could threaten the entire coastline properly. The KMT are by far the more formidable force, with 3 anti-aircraft guns, 8 infantry divisions, 5 cavalry divisions in Kwangtung, a sizable defense in the mountain terrain, meaning that they'll probably hold out for the foreseeable future. The CCP, on the other hand, although perhaps they hold more income-producing territories, are now in a faltering position, being stuck between 2 Japanese armies, the 41st in Hopei and the 97th in Nanking. Perhaps they'll have to retreat deeper into the mountains to prevent themselves from being completely overwhelmed by the Japanese forces. The CCP are busy trying to acquire the interior regions from the KMT so as to strengthen their own financial position in the future and open up lend-lease routes to Russia. It's going to be an interesting development for them as they try to challenge both the KMT and the Japanese for dominance in the Chinese theater. The Japanese too have another enemy to contend with in the face of the FVC, who continues to build up their forces in Calcutta with a fortified line, 2 anti-aircraft guns, and now forces in Burma and British Malaya. But a new turn of events as French Indochina has gone over to the Japanese, and Siam has aligned itself with the Japanese as well, meaning that the KMT forces will now see potentially a Japanese incursion coming in from the south. We shall see how this develops, as Japan also has to begin to look towards the east, towards the American shoreline to see what they'll be up to. To the south, the Anzac forces seem to be shaking themselves loose out of the city and now have spread themselves into New South Wales and South Australia, perhaps to reinforce the positions in British Malaya and Calcutta. In Africa, the Italians maintain their peaceful nature, and Cape Town is quiet as well, although the Germans are now raiding their forces off the coast of Australia and off the coast of Cape Town, as well as in the Indian Ocean. The Italians look to be maintaining their peaceful position for the foreseeable future. A large contingent of French ships, 4 French submarines, and 2 aircraft have gone over to the Free French, meaning the balance of power has now probably shifted towards the Allies, and perhaps meaning that the Italians have to stay in neutrality for the foreseeable future. This is despite the Italians having sizable forces in Tobruk, perhaps to threaten the forces in Cairo. It appears to be, our estimates are, that the Italians will maintain their peaceful nature for the considerable future. The Italians still have a sizable force in northern Italy, perhaps to launch attacks towards Yugoslavia, or maybe to, again, keep their neutrality for the foreseeable future. And now we turn our attention to the Brits, who declared war against the Germans and scrambled to protect their convoy lines from the German incursions who are pecking away at their income. The Germans, for their part, are the most notable impact thus far in Europe. After a swift campaign, launching their attacks from Belgium and using lightning war, they hit Picardy, Normandy, Aquitaine, Alsace-Lorraine, and southern France, encircling Paris and forcing the nation to capitulate. The Vichy Republic was set up in southern France, and the Vichy took over French Morocco, Free French taking Algeria, Western Africa becoming in Free French hands, but everything else, Central Africa, Madagascar, French Indochina, going over to the Vichy as well. So it's an interesting development, and decent luck on the rolls of the dice, as many units turned over to the Vichy fleet as well, battleship, a light cruiser, and destroyer. The Germans also engaged the Swedes in combat, launching an attack in Gotland and engaging the Swedish fleet off the coast of Stockholm. In a swift campaign, they managed to land several hits and sink the Swedish Navy with only a few units surviving, only 2 German fleets surviving, but taking over a huge chunk of the Swedish fleet, sinking them to the bottom of the sea, with only 1 Swedish coastal submarine surviving. So a very successful coup, with I think no German naval units lost in that combat. And now with 2 German transports, they can launch attacks against both Stockholm, Leningrad, the Baltic states, or perhaps the British Islands as well. We shall see how that develops. The Germans now could turn their attention southwards to strengthen their war chest in Yugoslavia and Greece, or perhaps they'll turn their attention eastwards in hopes of engaging the Soviets, who are quite weak on the ground, although their military coffers are quite thick and, you know, heavy, and with plenty of resources to dispose of. There's very few units on the ground to hold against the German forces. And that is the summary of the previous turn. Hello everybody, my name is Jinx, and this is turn number 7. We're looking at July 1939. A couple little corrections here, a couple little points of note is the MR Pact, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. In our agreement, it was to be that the Romanians would go over to the Germans, and it was intended that they would go in completely Bessarabia as well as central Romania, so that the Germans would get their +3 bonus. And I didn't realize that, or I forgot about that, and so I had fella annexed Bessarabia. So we around that, and this guy's back in Soviet lands. And apart from that, I think everything is more or less the same. One other note, I guess, is that the Soviets do say in their income that they collect income from annexed territories are collected immediately. The only annexed territory I could think of is Lithuania. The way I see it is annexed is stuff that you grab without combat, and these ones would be combat captured, as well as up in Iran as well. So I don't think those ones count. So that's my understanding of the rules. So I gave myself an extra buck, and now we get started with the CCP, starting with their forces over here in the combat moves. So they have $5 to spend. We're getting 1 infantry, bringing us down to $2 left over. Yes, I think that's right. $2 left over. I'm gonna bring this guy a little closer to the action. He's gonna eventually go. I'm gonna just put him here for now. Turning our attention to the combat moves here for these guys. I'm gonna send these guys in Singhai to Sinkang to engage them in combat, and the 2 cavalry as well. And then this guy from Sanchi is going up to Suyan, and that's it. So let's roll this one out. I didn't prepare the dice, so let's grab 3 green dice for the KMT forces, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 black dice for the infantry. Yeah, I think that should cover it. Alright, so the reds are at 2, the greens are rolling out 4s, and my black are for infantry at 1, going into the mountains. Looks like 2 hits for me, and 1 hit from them rolling a 4. So I'm going to take 2 of their guys off, and 1 of my infantry comes off. Let's see, 1, 2... Yep, that's it. 2 hits for them. Okay, so they're only rolling 1 dice here on the last round. And 1 of mine comes off. There we go. 1 hit. 1 hit and nothing. 2 hits for me and nothing for them. So that wipes them out. And a very successful anti-KMT move here. Capturing this territory from the enemy. So nice, 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 nice. Okay. I took off my guy off the board already. This guy gets taken off. Alright, now we go to non-combat moves. So this guy moves to Sinkang, this guy up to Shanxi, this anti-aircraft gun, and 2 infantry come over to Szechwan, leaving only 1 guy left behind. And I believe that's it for our forces down here. I'm going to roll for the recruitment roll. It needs to be 7 or less. With a 6, we succeed. I heard something else move too. Oh well. Yeah. We're going to put our infantry... Oops, there we go. There's something popped up. Okay, infantry, we'll put him here. And the infantry that we're going to build is going to go here. That's this guy here. I might change that up. No, we'll leave it. Yeah, we'll put 1 guy here. Yeah, in Shenxi, and one guy up here in Singhai. Yeah, sure. I'm cool with that. Yeah, alright. Moving on to other parts. So that takes care of these guys. Let's roll for Mongolia over here. We need a 4 or less. A 5, just missed it. Yeah, alright, no worries. Okay, now for the... Okay, collect income. So they collect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5. Meaning we're at 7 next turn. Okay, now we turn to the Russians. The Russians are only going to get a railway, which they're going to put on the connecting line between themselves and the CCP over here. Right there. And I just need to check if my software is recording. I had an issue where yeah, anyways. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. I had an issue, and it was resolved, but my recording software quit on me. So let's move on. Starting with the Russians. I guess we got to roll for the technology rolls. Starting with advanced mech, we got 5 rolls to do. Starting with advanced mech, it needs to be 7 or up. It's a 3, it's a miss. Next up, we have improved factories. 7 and up, 50% chance, and that's a miss as well. Next up, we have these guys. 5, miss as well. And the jet fighters is a 4, miss there too. And the only success of the day, strat rockets, going up 1 space. Excellent. That's better than nothing. Alright. Okay. Combat moves next. Yes, combat moves next. So we're going to make a few combat moves in Iran. This guy's going to go down south. These guys are going to move for Azerbaijan down south. 3 infantry, 3 cavalry. These guys over there. These 2 fighters are coming in from Crimea. One of them hitting northern Iran. One of them hitting Iraq. We're going to go to war against Iraq this turn. And then over here, we're going to send 2 infantry to attack East Poland. Without a declaration of war, it still works. And a tactical bomber from Smolensk. And that's it. So let's roll for these guys. I think I deleted those dice already. That's unfortunate. Copy. Paste. So we have 3 infantry going in. They have... I'm going to make this the militia. The yellow will be militia, green will be infantry. And 3 cavalry, and the red dice here, the brighter red dice, will be for the fighter. Checking my software again. Good. Okay, I think that's it. 3, 3, and yeah. Okay, rolling. I see no hits from them. 1 from us, 2 from us, 2 from us is all. Okay, delete these. So these die rolls are remaining consistent, rolling low for both attack and defense. I think I just destroyed my fighter dice here. Our tech dice were low, and our combat dice were low too, so that's always a good thing. I guess you can't have both. Round 2. 1 hit. 1 hit, and that's it. So, wiped out, and no casualties. Nice. Okay, and now our attack over here. Hopefully this one, the margin of safety is a little bit narrower here, because we don't have as many, we only have basically 1 shot. Maybe 2 shots that they can target against us before we die. So hopefully we get this one. Okay, ours are black, his is green. It's infantry. 1 hit on us, and he missed. So we captured northern Iraq from the enemy. And our fighters are going to land in Azerbaijan. That's that. Okay, now we're going to go cruise our battle dice northwards. Too bad I can't already collect for these territories. That would be pretty cool. Alright, going over here. So they have 1 militia, we have 2 infantry, and 1 tactical bomber, so these dice are still applicable. With 1 hit being 5. 5, yeah, these ones are missed. And so we managed to kill this guy. British militia. Come on. Alright, capturing the territory. Oh, come on. There we go. And the tactical bomber will land over here. And now we go to non-combat moves. I can just move this dice over here. Non-combat moves, I think, starting with the Republicans. These guys are going to come to Basque Country. I know it's very likely the chances of the Germans coming for Spain are very minor right now, but I'm going to move them here regardless. So they could, in theory, come and hit ourselves in Basque Country. I doubt they would, but just in case, I'm going to roll that. And while we're here, we're going to roll for recruitment here. Needs to be 6 or less, and we missed, so that stays there. And that's about it for these guys. Good. Okay, and then non-combat over here. This sub in the Mediterranean comes to the Aegean. These guys already moved. This torpedo boat goes here. These 2 Marines come into Turida. And this guy comes over here with the anti-aircraft gun. These guys, of course, are staying here. These motorized units are coming over to Orel Kursk over here. Boom. This infantry from northern Belarus to Wallachia. These 3, oops, this guy just got built, so he's going to stay here. He's going to be built in a minute. And this transport plane is going to pick up a dude. You know what? I think I'm going to actually take him. I think I'm going to take him and put him up in this neck of the woods. And these 2 infantry are going to be built, are moving to Leningrad. So from Karelia to Leningrad. And I honestly think that's about it. Can't see anything else that needs to be done. Yeah, that's it. So we put our international brigade on the map. Okay, one other thing. We're going to scorch earth here. Now, quick note on the scorched earth. They technically exist on the board, but I don't control both sides of the board. So I don't know if it would look something like this, right? Where you break it everywhere. Or maybe it's just one. I don't honestly know. But I'm going to just do it this way anyways. And if people don't like the way it looks, then they can change it. Yeah, then they could change it. But yeah, that's a scoop. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, I do believe that's it. We rolled for our income increase not long ago, and it was a 6, so we bumped ourselves up 6. So I don't think we don't need to do any more than that. With our railway cost us 4. So that's that. It's 28. We placed it here already. I'm going to paint it white so that people can see it. And because there's 2 separate turns, the CCP and the Russians are in 2 separate turns, so it's applicable, I could build it right away, connecting their territory. And yeah, honestly, I think that's it. We just put our stuff on the board and move on past that point, which we did. So 28 plus another 28 means 56, if I'm not mistaken. Ready for the next turn. So 56. All right. And you know what? I'm going to give myself the MR Pact because it's always easier if I do it. And then if it's inaccurate and we need to take it off, then we just simply take it off. And that's all well and good. All right. I think that's it, everybody. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done. I'm going to go ahead and roll. We put those guys down. Yeah, I'm going to clear all our lines. Well, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he could land up there if he wanted to. Good. All right, I'm pretty cool with that. Okay, thank you all for watching, and thank you for your patience as I ran through this turn. I had some software issues before that made it that it wasn't staying on when I was recording, but I think I solved that. Thanks all for watching. Cheers!